Well, hey everybody, it looks like we are going live. I am using a hotspot again. Still no Wi-Fi at home. You're going to hear the dog playing with his squeaky toys. He got a whole bunch of new squeaky toys today. And I don't want to yell at my employee to come get them. But I'm running a little behind schedule today. We normally start my pre-show considerably earlier. We're starting right at 7. You're going to be hearing that squeaky toy until I can get the dog out of here. I'm kind of hoping my employee hears me complaining about it. He normally watches the show, but there's a big delay. Hey, Harry, that's enough. Maybe he'll be quiet for a couple seconds. Tonight, what we're going to be talking about, the show hasn't quite started yet. I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair and get going here. But tonight, what we're going to be talking about is a fun topic. Yeah, right. Sometimes it's very fun. Other times it's not quite so fun. But we're going to be talking about. Would you get the dogs? Thanks. I'm in pre-show, so I'd like it nice by the time I start my show. Cool. My employees over there messing with the dogs. Dogs have been really a handful today. But we're going to be talking about money, and we're going to not just how to make it and all that. That we talk about that all the time, and it will be in here. But I made an app so you can make better decisions about money. So we're going to go through and talk. I have a little video thing. My video things are getting shorter and shorter, by the way. I don't go into as much detail as I used to, but I have an app that I created, and it's about money to help you out. So we're going to zip through in video. We're going to zip through that app pretty quickly. And I think we're just about ready to get going here. But we'll zip through that app pretty quick, and then we'll get into a chat window. Now, if I don't get a lot of questions or anything today, um, I'll talk for a little bit, and then I'm going to jump over into what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday. I did a major change. I did a run through. Do I have time to talk about this? Well, no, I've got less than a minute. We'll talk about it in the show. All right, guys. Well, I don't know where the moderator is. I haven't even had a chance to look at the messages. I just got out of the tub, jumped in front of the camera, got it logged in, did a little bit of edits, and here we are. So, you know what? It's just about rock and roll time. So, I think we're going to get this ball rolling. I hope you enjoy listening about money today. I always like money. Everyone likes money. All right, guys. Well, let's give this chat a moment to pop open, and it seems to be working okay. I am using my phone as a hotspot, so I really don't want to test the chat. We have a viewer in YouTube. I don't know who it is yet, but if you want to pop a little comment in here, it'll appear on the screen. Now, this is just our opening window. This is not what we're going to be talking about today. This is just where I say, hey, hello. I finally changed my subscriber count to the correct number. It was wrong for like 2 weeks because every show, oh, it's perfect finds. How you doing? Well, we've got an easy show. It's a huge topic because it's what everything runs around, but we're going to talk about money today. We're going to talk about how to make it. We're going to talk about how to lose it. We're going to talk about how to grow it. We're going to talk about how to show it. We're going to talk all about money. So, and we're also going to talk about this new stuff they call money, Bitcoin, but not much. I'm going to give you some links and everything. Oh, you're on both of them today. I'm going to give you some links and everything in the app that will tell you about it. And I don't want to get deep into it because I am in no way a pro on it. I do have a Bitcoin that I'm playing around with. Eh, not impressed. But, it does go up and down a lot. More up, so that's a good thing. We are going to have some kind of bad visuals here because I am using a hotspot, but it does seem we're skipping a few, but it does seem like we're coming through okay. So, like I said, our show today is about money. Now, one of the things about money that you're always wondering about is your cash flow. What's going to be coming in? What's going to be going out? That's probably the most significant topic on money that an e-commerce person has to deal with, as well as, your personal life and in your family. But we're talking about business here pretty much. So, cash flow. Cash flow is the little chart going up and down back there and the little pennies falling out of heaven, which wouldn't that be nice? But cash flow can be a significant problem with most businesses, and it quite often is. Um, it it There's no stable environment for cash flow because it's not 100% predictable. You can make market estimates, product demand estimates, calculate Google data and statistics until you're blue in the face, and I do. Because without doing that work, you're not going to do a very good job. But cash flow is something you have no control over. So, one of my tips, I'm going to give you a few tips before you even get to the app. One of my tips to you is use a business trick that I use and don't rely on your cash flow. Now, that sounds easy to say, but that is a difficult thing to do. What I mean by don't rely on your cash flow, yes, you're going to rely on the cash flow coming in and out of your business. Yes, that don't misunderstand me. You're going to have to rely on that cash flow. But what I'm saying is don't rely on the sorry guys, I have this spammy window gets me every show. Don't rely on the cash flow at the time of cash flow. Figure that into the beginning of your business model. How many people have driven down the street and see, oh, what a wonderful restaurant. There's line around the block. They have, valet parking. There's a waiting list. And it's not even that expensive. It's a great place. It's loaded with people. And you drive by 6 months later and you see tumbleweeds rolling around in the front yard. Not a soul there. Now, why? Why? Because most of those businesses had predicted their cash flow probably accurately. Now, that doesn't sound like a problem, and it's not. But they relied on that cash flow rather than having their business plan. The realization that when you start a restaurant, you should plan on its operational budget being completely self sufficient without any income for about 2 years. Now, that's a huge investment. Everyone cuts the corner on that investment. They invest everything they have, and then 6 months later, someone who's smart comes in and buys them up for pennies, disassembles it, and either tears it down and uses their materials somewhere else because they got them for peanuts on the dollar, or they go in with a smarter business plan. They do a facelift. They piggyback on the old business reputation a little bit. And then they say, oh, yeah, this was great. Remember this? Well, we remember when it was great. So we made it better from when it was great. And they'll get a surge of people. As long as they market properly, they can actually recover a business. Now, why couldn't the first business do that? Because they didn't have the cash flow, or they were using the cash flow before it should have been in their budget to do so. And everyone does this because it is much cheaper to start a business that you don't have to have the budget in your pocket to run. That's salaries, everything, guys. So in e-commerce, you don't have quite those kind of restrictions. You don't have that much operational expense that you have to cover, or overhead, or losses, or being sued from people walking up the steps. So, it's not quite the same game, but the same principle applies. Now, I'm going to give you one more tip, and we're going to go to another chat window, and then we're going to get right into that money app. Now, when I'm talking about cash flow, that includes in and out. Most people think cash flow is the flow coming in, but I always calculate it with it in and out. Makes it easier further down the list, so to speak. If your cash flow is determined by your own business, no problem. That means if you have a retail business, you have no problems with traffic. Let's say you're in a high walking traffic area and you have the way to get them from on the sidewalk into the door. You have to have some value there. You figured out your little niche. You figured out how to get them from the sidewalk in the door, and enough do it. You've got a stable thing. That's kind of how e-commerce starts you out when you use a platform. Kind of. They give you walkers by. Now, it used to be that everyone that walked by got to see all the store windows. Now, all the shutters are pulled except for the best one on the block. Yeah, product catalogs. Not very fond of product catalogs or product to consumer platforms. But that's what we all have now. Unless you're on Prairie Grid, that's still consumer based. But it's still a huge advantage because if you can, and there's not too many other shades pulled down on the block, you could get a search window opportunity where you come up as the top metrics where there's no other competition. So your cash flow is actually totally controlled by the whim of your platform that you are on. So what are you going to do about cash flow there? Well, you're not going to be able to do a thing except for play the game the best you can and try to find that window. If you find it, then you can increase your cash flow by whatever brings the money in, figure it out, and do more of it. It's that simple. Difficult game. So cash flow really is the determining factor if you're going to be successful in e-commerce or not. It's exactly why I closed a hugely successful eBay business, 500 followers and regular shoppers on eBay itself. Terrible search results that I will never get, that I used to get unbelievable numbers on. So because the platform changed, my cash flow changed. So I had to adapt my business plan. Now, I didn't do it quickly, much to my dismay, but I did do it, and I began it a year ago. I started ending listings. I had over 6,000. I always say 6,000, but it was well over that. I was selling out of like 200 and 300 listings a week and making 300 or 400 more. I used to really be busy. So the cash flow changed. What did that affect? It affected every single nuance of not only my business, but my personal life and everything else. Even the survival of some of my pets and whatnot were all affected by my cash flow. Now, that's because I didn't have in mind a good enough business plan to live entirely off not the money coming in at the moment it's coming in. In other words, the advice I gave you before, I was doing when the money was in high numbers. But as the cash flow changed, my business model couldn't readjust from going from 150 sales a day to 10 or 20 or 30. Still the same number of thefts. You understand the problem. Cash flow altered. I had diversified, thank God. I had diversified my business into a lot of different business ventures like podcasts. By the way, since I mentioned the podcast, I do want you guys to sign up for my Ecom Tips podcast. It is free. If you sign up for $5 or above, you can get into the Helpful Tips group, get a free website, and you get my undivided attention and help. That's my little sales plug put in there. I have to do that, guys. I really do need to make the money. So I really would appreciate some donations. But if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. If you don't, at least share my things around and engage in comments. Hey, Ed, you made it. Awesome. Okay, well, that's my little sales spiel for the end of my little cash flow section. Now, I would go on and on and on about it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. But again, don't live on the cash flow as it comes in. That the managed payment thing that eBay's kind of rolling out, and all the other sites kind of have, is of actually I hate it because I don't like other people messing in my business. That's why I closed it. But it's actually rather intelligent because most people don't budget their cash flow sufficiently. Which means, let's say, oh, thanks for the link. Let's say you can also donate at Patreon, $5 a month or above, and get into the Helpful Tips chat group. There's a Helpful Tips group on Facebook that's free. You can join it. It's great posts. My feeds go there. But then there's a private chat only by invitation and only by people that subscribe to either my podcast or Patreon. Okay, so back to it. So the cash flow deal with that went on with me, as I said before, uh, was I couldn't adjust my business model. I had already begun ending listings. Now you might go, that doesn't make sense. If he's having cash flow problems, why would he be taking down listings? It makes perfect sense because none of the listings online are going to come up in their search engine. None. Very small. Out of six, I had one when I first analyzed the problem, figured out what to do. Very soon after, like 2 days, I knew that it was over because the math just told me that. So I knew that the inventory that I had ordered coming in was cash flow going out. That was almost $250,000. Those orders have to be honored. I am a reputable business. I'm not going to renege on shipments from companies, especially when I know the other owners of the corporations. Be a bit embarrassed. So I have to pay the orders and everything that was set up for a thriving business. So all that stuff come in. All of that, by the way, well, not all of it. Some of it I got into, but a large percentage of that is still in the case with the tape still on it. No reason to open it. It's all products that I won't come up in their search. So I knew the cash flow for the investment was gone, not the value. They still can be sold. I can spend time funneling and doing all this, but if I'm going to do that, I'm not going to pay the outlay of cash flow to overhead that's unresponsive or needed. So that's explaining cash flow, how to adjust your business. So you need to live not on the current cash flow, if at all possible. If you're starting up a business, figure out, like, I'll give an eBay example because a lot of people are on there. Let's say your eBay overhead is, I don't know, you promoted listings, little apps and crap. Let's say your eBay overhead is $100 a month. You're a small store, and that includes your eBay fees, not your 10%. That's just kind of your overhead operations, and that's nothing. That's easy. You can make that pretty quick. All right, so you've got $100 into eBay. They take out 10% on everything you do. Keep that in mind. You have returns. I roll my eyes on those. I don't mind returns. I hate theft. You have returns and theft. You need to take off a percentage based on your product type, what you think that'll be. I will give you a tip. Low cost, little cheap stuff, theft's out the roof. Unbelievable numbers. If you have significant sales, you'll just refund them and be done with it because it's not worth paying to have it sent back just so they can send you an empty envelope and whatnot. So you have to figure that in. And you also have to figure in your taxes. And this I'm going to mention before we get to the next chat and we start getting into the app because I've given enough time. It's 15 after. It's app time. That's enough time for people to come in. Okay, think about this. Cash flow. Do you consider using a credit card to affect your cash flow or your budget? If you don't, you have a huge hole in your business. You haven't considered. When you charge let's say I can get a case of these for $10. I'm just making up numbers. I wouldn't. Don't ever buy these to sell. But let's say I was, and I got a case for $10. I only had $8 in my pocket, so I pull out my credit card and I buy it. Now, $10 is not a big deal. I figure, oh, I'll pay at the end of the month. The end of the month comes around and there's another case laying around somewhere. It's $20. So I use my card again. And then I realize, oh my goodness, I owe for the first one and I'm just going to let that carry over to the next month. This is the trap of credit. You'll continue to do that over and over because it's easy. People do the easy, lazy thing. Well, I shouldn't say lazy. The easy thing they have to sometimes. But, there's a difference between using credit because you have to and because you feel you have to. Get that perspective right. And in my app, we'll go into that a little bit. But did you consider that you don't really own the item that you sold? It got stolen or lost or refunded. You paid the shipping both ways. You paid for the item. You don't have anything else to sell. That's a loss anyway. But do you realize you're also losing because it's not paid for yet? You're losing all that interest value and cost, and the compound and the added expense of making multiple payments. Is there a fee to make a payment? Do you pay a fee when you go to the bank or an ATM and withdraw the money because you're $15 short when you see a case of pillows that can flip you $100? When you write down that you bought those, I'm sure you wrote that you paid the price on the ticket. Did you figure out how much more interest and how many more payments it would actually be before you actually know what your investment is? Now, I'm giving small numbers just to give you an idea how little trickles might add up. But now imagine that you have financed your entire business with a loan. Now, a lot of people do that. I am not saying you shouldn't. I don't. But you should not do that. But if you do, that's normal business practice. There's normal business practice, and then there's being very good at economics. But you have to go with what you've got. Okay, that does figure into your calculations. So you got your, I'm about ready to get to the next window. I'm going over a little. But so you've got your normal business practices where you go out and you get a loan and you set up your warehouse, you got your shelves built. Now that's actually the way to do it, because if you buy it a long time, you're gonna over time you're gonna pay more money. I did. I went the long road and paid more money by mistake in my judgment. Just an FYI. But if you do have the money up front and you get all your shelves, your boxes, buy plastic totes. Do not buy banker boxes. You will regret them. If you grow in business and get volume, they fall apart. I had plastic totes that I had on Amazon 12 years ago, 11 years ago. So get the plastic totes. So you've got your boxes, you've got your totes, you've got your shelves, you figured out your inventory system, you bought your software. You're all good to go. All that's paid for except for it's a loan. But you bought it all at once, you got a super good price. You might have bought things included. I mean, when you have more money, you get better deals. You know how that works. Probably went into a used place and said, "Oh, your store's closing. How much are those shelves along the back wall?" I did that. I bought a whole wall of shelves for $15. Guy goes, "Oh, they're just going to throw them out in the trash. They're going to tear that whole wall out and throw it out. Take it, $15." I was over there in an hour, trust and believe, with my employee. Drove all the way home, turned around, went all the way back to Kansas City. We brought those shelves home. As a matter of fact, that's actually the shelves that are going to be left. I'm only going to sell 300 listings worth of stuff out of my warehouse. So you see what I'm talking about the debt, the cash flow, the investment, but you haven't really paid for it yet. So what you should do to cover that credit monster, because it is a monster, is when you make your first sale, and from that sale on, you should have a percentage. And just, like those little credit cards, those little prepaid cash cards that you get, like Green Dot or whatever it is. And I don't know if Green Dot does it. I have a Green Dot, but I never looked. But they have where all of your change can go in your savings account. And that's very good, guys, because you're not going to notice that little trickle disappearing from your bank account. Talking about cash flow. You're not going to notice the trickle cash flow so much. It's not going to have a huge impact at that moment. But over time, its effect is an enormous amount of money. Now, same thing with the loan that you do when you began your business. It doesn't matter if it's just the change. It doesn't matter what your principal is. Let's say your business loan is $500 a month. Do you just pay the $500 a month? Don't just pay the $500 a month. Even if you only take $100 a month and put it in a jar, and when it gets to $500, that month you pay a $500 a month payment coming out of your business, and you take that money out of the jar and you make a principal payment. Those nickels and dimes will actually start turning marginal profits into a little bit larger marginal profits. And over time, you will discover that the debt gets paid off much quicker at a much lower cost. And all of a sudden now you're making that $500 a month payment that probably only in what, 220, 250, 260 in that range really was applied after you do the fees and balloons or whatever your little drama is at the bank. Now that is a significant change, because if you do that, and let's say you get your loan paid off pretty good, on e-commerce, guys, I used to flip 100 products, 100 to 150 products a day. I could have bought, and I did do. My car breaks. Oh, you know what? I'm going to borrow my mom's car. A few days later, oh, look, let's get this car. No debt. Because I didn't have the constant drain of always owing that payment in. Now, I always drag it out a little bit. I've got to get to the next window. Yeah. I always drag it out a little bit with what I'm talking about, this credit payoff stuff. I don't do credit that costs a whole bunch, but I have done working capital back when I had to buy huge amounts of inventory at once. I wouldn't have enough cash. I would flip working capital, which is just as bad as credit because you have to pay that increase. But at least their increase, you know what it is. It comes off at a percentage of what you make each day. That small cash flow thing you don't notice. So I'm telling you, with the credit, that's a small cash flow that you don't notice. It's a lot draining out, but do it just in reverse too. Paying off debts, buying inventory that you know you're going to need next year. For example, I used to, after Christmas, buy more toys than I would buy all the year long. I buy, and not just all clearance toys either, from the manufacturers. Why? The new model was coming in. Oh, we got like 5 or 6 cases of these left. That was 90%, 60% off. Or they'd contact me and they'd say, oh, we got 2 cases of this, 4 cases of that. These are all things that are being replaced with new models. Do you want them cheap? So I would do very well because my cash flow at that time, I had just built up from all the Christmas sales. And then the products that were left over, most people dump because they figure they won't be good next year. Well, eBay's back then your better product choice, and even today, because the keywords is actually a model that you can't get at the store anymore because the new model's out and nobody wants it. That's your best business model for eBay, guys. Find a company that's a big one. In other words, they're going to get all the metrics. So they're going to run everyone out of business, including yourself, if you're carrying what they have this year. But if they change their product line every year and there's a definite differentiation between products each year, so you can use the keyword from the last year, those companies get rid of all of their old models because they don't want to compete with their new investment with books that are already closed. Find a window like that, ride that built up market. Those companies copy their colors, not their slogans or anything, but try to do similar colors. Look at the keywords they use. Those people spend billions, millions, and millions. I said billions, millions of dollars researching to make sure that those built-in triggers that are in our brains will make you buy their product. Once they move on, it's all about their new keyword. Their old keyword market's still there because a lot of people go to the store and they want the old model. They can't find it at the store. They go to eBay, they type in the name brand. They're not going to find the old model either. So they go in and they type the keyword for the model they want. And that is your opportunity for cash flow on eBay. All right, we're going to get off this window. I skipped one I was going to do. So we're going right on schedule. We're not too much further before we're done. This is just a little chat window that I always do just before I jump into the app. You know what I do every show, guys? I set my old butt up. I jiggle around in my chair a little bit. I get a drink of water. What am I drinking out of now? This is cold water out of an old iced tea glass because I didn't want to wash a cup. I am washing all the vintage stuff because I think I'm going to liquidate it in my show. I probably surprises you guys. I have. It's not like I can't make listings, but I decided, you know what? I'm just going to make listings of the stuff that I put in my little Dragon Deals live show where you get things at below wholesale. I'm just going to make those after the show and just stick those in listings in a couple sites. They sell out. New ones the next week or two or whenever. And then when I get all this old eBay crap moved, then I will put the good stuff that I really, really, really want to carry forever into those sites in place of the things that are in the app. Then the things that'll be in the app will no longer have links to listings. You just buy them directly from chat. Like I'm doing it in reverse. I was originally going to have everyone buying from chat so I don't have to make listings. Mm, a little complicated to explain that. So I decided, we'll just have the show. You get a cheap price during the show. If you don't buy it during the show, you pay the discounted clearance price that's in the link in the store. So if it's in the app, you can buy it at any time if it has a link. If it's in the app and it has a number but there's no price or anything, can't buy it. Not till I put it in the show or I put it in a link. Or you show up in the show and say item number XXX whatever. I have my employee go get it if that's possible. Sometimes it's not. We have a lot of stuff. I have him go get it. I put it on the show. I show it to you. You buy it in the show. We do it. I'll make you a link by the next morning. Much easier than dealing with send me your address or you paying shipping up. So I made it a lot easier. I'm a little bit trying to psych myself up because this one is done differently than the one I even just did 2 days ago. I've trimmed it even more and it's much shorter. It's a little longer than I wanted to make it, but it's still a real short video. Are you guys ready? Do you think I can roll this out? Do you think I can tell you about this money app? By the way, to find my apps, there's links. I'm sure the moderator will put in the next chat or in not while I'm doing the video. It doesn't do anyone any good. But you can go to keywebco.com, go to the menu, scroll down to it says Key Webco apps. I have an app page there. It's all the tools you could ever want for business embedded in that page. You don't even have to leave the page ever again. You scroll through the little boxes that are there, push the buttons, and follow the directions. The app for tonight is in that web page. It is the Money app. Am I ready? I got to put my fidget spinner down. Quit fidgeting. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to talk about this app. Now, this app is free. You're going to love it. It's full of good stuff for you guys. So here we go. Alrighty, as the parrots scream, we're going to talk about the helpful tips and KeyWebCo money making app or money app. It's not about really just making money. It's about money, period. All right, it's going to help you with everything money. It's very simple to use. You just scroll through the little boxes and push the little button, just like the little guy there is showing you to do. It has an accounting link. You can make great accounting decisions. There's all kinds of information about what you need to know, what it is, how to do it, and pretty much the description of everything you need to really, really know to understand it. It also has video training throughout all of this app. There's a one video in here that tells you everything. This is about online services, Stripe, PayPal, that kind of thing. It has the thing I told you about the credit cards. Now, that's not me telling you. That is someone else that gives you really good information about credit and what to watch for and opportunities with credit and whatnot. Now, this is what it's all about. Return on investment. This article is very well written. It's not extremely advanced, but it is easy to understand, and it does cover the advanced topics. Growing your money, that's investments. It's how to save to grow your money, as well as what to do to actually grow it. It's got some ideas in there, and it tells you things about how it actually works. Business costs, obviously, that is about business costs, and I am sure you are all very familiar with business costs, but you may not know some of them, so they're in there. That's that accounting video, guys. Accounting 101. I actually sat through that. Now, I am pretty advanced, and I enjoyed it. It reminded me of some things that I've been lazy about. Tax responsibilities, self-evident. That's a nightmare, and it's going to get worse. And add tariffs to that for a global business like I have, and that's a lot of fun, isn't it? Business documents. Guess what? You don't have to buy them. You don't have to download them. You don't have to do anything. Well, you do have to download them, and those are the ones you're going to need. Now, I believe they're all free. I believe so. Yeah, they're all free. Shopping apps. People don't really talk about shopping apps and money, but you know what? Shopping apps are making all the money, and I have a very strong suspicion in the very near future, you better be on them. Employees, you being one or having to get one, that's a lot more tricky than you might think. You have VAs, you have all kinds of things that you can do, and that's a business expense you really need to consider. Shipping app. That's in there to save you a bunch of money. If you don't stay current on what shipping costs do and you think, oh, it's always best on UPS, oh, it's always best on FedEx, you're losing your shirt. Check out Pirate Shipping. This is how you can make money with me. You get into the QWebCo affiliate program, which is free. You sign up, you go to my store, you grab a link of something that you think is really cool and get attention. You copy that link, share it around, you get paid when they buy it. Bitcoin. I don't like cryptocurrency too much. I do have a Bitcoin, and I've actually not lost money. Not really made much either. You go broke, that's some things you can do. Now, I have not done the things in there, even though I am broke. Broke from what I was. Platform diversification, that will save your money. In other words, that old adage, don't put everything in one basket. It's more than that, guys. These platforms are all fighting with each other. Take that to your advantage. Let them pull your stuff back and forth, and Google read it all. Key Webco apps. By the way, if you need to know anything, it's probably in that Key Webco app. Now, that wasn't too awful, was it? Told you it was pretty quick. And you saw I reached over and grabbed my fidget spinner. I have worn the little logo off these things. I love them. I like to fidget spin. All right, now this will be a good time, and I think I might go ahead and do this too. This would be a good time to put a links in here. Let me go to my Facebook page. Now I am streaming on the same thing I'm going to, so I'm going to do it slowly. I'm going to give you guys a link. We're almost done with the money thing here. I'm going to give you guys a link in here. I don't see me streaming here. Hold on, guys. It might not show me because I'm sure I'm tapped. Just pulling every bit of data. Am I on Facebook? Yes, I am on here. Okay. Hey, turn that volume down. All right, I'm going to give you just the link to my main business here because I don't want to spend a lot of time looking down at the phone. Let's see if it comes up on the screen. Yes. Okay, so the links are working. If the moderator's in here, this would be a pretty good time because this window will be visible for just a few minutes, and I think it will carry over all the way to the end. I'm not sure. But go to the keywebco.com link there. Go to the menu, scroll down, hit KeyWebco apps. All of my apps are in there. And in particular, I just got through doing a little video about the money app. It will give you all the information you need to make much better money decisions based for your business and home. There's other topics in that app page too that you will find very, very useful. All right, I don't see any questions. Nobody have any questions? Don't see any questions in Facebook. Hopefully, I haven't bored everyone about money. I don't like to really go on and on and on about money, even though that's what we talk about all the time in one way or another. So let's talk a little bit about accounting. I didn't see any questions, so I'm just going to finish up with you guys today. Thank you for putting that in there. Yeah, go there, go to the menu, and hit apps. Okay, so accounting, you see all those numbers and all that drama running by, all those pluses and minuses. You know what? In the app, there's the forms, there's everything it needs. It tells you how to do it. I use GoDaddy software for my accounting because I have forever. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. There is much better software out there. Much better, even for about the same price. So I'm going to tell you, look for the software that you need for your business. Parrots are throwing a fit. It's nighttime. Cockatoo blew up. I really wish I kind of had gone, what was it? Was it Encarta? Or no, not Encarta. What was the other one? Indisa. I don't remember what it was. But there was one that kind of worked with one of the product transferring softwares that I used, and it was all built in that you could even do your invoices and inventory. And I didn't drop ship it. I had a friend that did, and I was doing it for them. I had that all built into all together. And if I had this one other software that was about the same price as GoDaddy, it would have integrated all that together, so there would have been no separate spreadsheet making, even from invoice orders from Bulk and Macy's and other wholesalers. Ah, that's what I really should have done. But I went ahead and stuck with GoDaddy. GoDaddy will work unless you're doing anything really advanced. Then I recommend you check out some different accounting software. I'm going to get spammed again. Hold on, watch this pop open. It catches me every so often. It's going to do it one more time. This little spam window that if I push the wrong button, it pops open something. All right, so I don't really want to talk too much about accounting because I'll bore everyone to death with that. We are in the last chat window before final credits. Make sure if you took the time to watch my show today, today's not a very fun topic. It's fun to talk about how to get money and lose money and ideas, but today was just to show you how to make better money decisions. It's really hard to be entertaining doing that. I didn't even give you too many stories or anything like that. But this is the last chat window for this show officially. No questions, no drama in here today. Guess what I'm going to do? Now, I think you'll still be able to hear me, and I'm only going to run this for a moment. This is the intro for the thing I'm going to do on Wednesday. That is the Dragon Deals live show. This is only on for a moment, so I'm going to test a few things here that I want to see. I want to see if it came out all right live. There's no sound in the background. Uh, I was going to do a voiceover on it, but I think what I'm going to do is exactly what you're seeing right now. I may just, because this is the show starting soon window, I may just have my voice where if I want to talk before the show starts, I can do that. The dogs, the employee, everyone's making noise. Sorry, guys. I can do that, or I can just do it like this. So this is what it would sound like. Not sure I want it totally silent. People might get bored and leave before the 2.5 minute runs out and we actually get to the countdown, which I'm not going to make you sit through. So I've got to kind of check that. That's kind of why I ran that now so I can kind of see it live. This is another redo I'm doing. Not sure I'm going to really like this, so let's give it a test. During the Dragon Deals live show, that's on Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. See that little bit.ly link down there? You have to use an app to shop. Uh, During the show, I made the screen a lot bigger, so I'm not going to do it now. But so I can actually get a little bit better view to the people that want to see the items. See, yesterday I was having to hold it up so close and it was still too small. You couldn't read anything. It was all fuzzy. I also have brought a friend of mine over here that works for a theater. He came over this morning when I wasn't here. I just said, I told him what the digital passcode was, and he came over here and he did some light testing around here, and he's going to bring me some shading, reflective shading for a corner over there, so I can maybe not get so washed out of a white LED-ish light looking in here, so you'll get less plastic reflection. Like you see my glasses, they reflect a lot. So I'm going to test something. I'm going to test the chat test. Doing it during my show today. Okay, I want to test it again. And again. I want to see if you're going to be able to read the names and stuff over the moving logo in the back. That's actually not too obnoxious. I may actually make the gray a little darker so you can see the words a little better. I ran out of room. I have to have my logos, guys. I have to have my moving videos. If you notice in my show, every screen you see, there's some sort of drama going on. That's just me. I like it, and that's what I'm going to do. But it is problematic. I couldn't make my camera window big enough that you could see the items. The items pictures will be in the app, but it'll just be like a little collage picture. Nothing's going to be listed online until after the show. Or if it has a link in it, it will be, there's very few items in the app right now. By Wednesday, there'll be 100. And it might just all be pictures with numbers. After the show, people come in during the show and they say, okay, item number, blah, blah, blah. Can you bring it to the camera? I will ask the employee if he can get it. If he can easily, we'll bring it to the camera. If not, you're SOL. You're going to have to just take my word for its condition because you'll see the little pictures and I'll talk about it. I have all the data on everything pretty much in memory. But it's also, and this is only during the live show, can you ask for one of those things that are not priced, that don't have a link, to be listed? So that's what's going to determine which pictures in my app actually get prices on them. Because if someone wants to see it on the show and they buy it, it's gone. Picture deleted. I make a link for them that I don't make public in the app because it's got a super duper cheap price. I'm telling you what I mean. Let's say I paid $10 for this. Now that's crap. I wouldn't be paying that. But let's say I paid $10 for this item. Okay. Whatever that item is, I'm never going to charge more than half of that in the Dragon Deal live show. So this item would cost you 5 plus shipping I calculate in, and I include shipping in the price. So basically you'd be paying $10 for this. Actually be a little less because I give you a discount in the live deal show. But if it was listed, it would definitely be the $10 price. It would probably be 12, a little bit higher, built in. Now, this is not, don't compare the actual value of what I'm holding up. I'm just giving you an estimate. Let's say the items were $30 retail online, what I call retail online with shipping. Let's say shipping on the item's $10. Let's say I paid $20 for it. Clearance price in my app is probably going to be including the shipping, $20. Okay. But if you're in the Dragon Deal live show, only during the show, the item doesn't have a link in it, so it's not already available for sale. You mention it, say, oh, this item doesn't have a link. You need to tell me if it has a link or not when you bring it up. This item doesn't have a link. That means it's not for sale at a clearance price. Because if it's at sale on a clearance price with a link and you want it cheaper in the show, good luck. Because if I had to take the time to pay to someone to make the link, it's not going cheaper. But if it doesn't have a link in the show is when you want to mention it. You say item B14 for a Tommy Hilfiger comforter. How much was that? I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me look it up. And if I don't know off the top of my head, I'll look it up. And I'll say, because it's all based on what I paid, not the value of the item. I will give you all the info. I'll say the comforter's worth $100. That's the online value that I was selling it for. I sold 3, I had 1 return, or I sold 10 and I had no returns, whatever the numbers are. And I paid in a Macy's lot. Now, if you hear me say Macy's lot or a bulk lot, get excited because that means whatever I paid for however many items were in that lot, they're all based the same value in a lost liquidation sale. Are you catching my meaning? So if I have a Tommy Hilfiger comforter and you luck out that I just happened to buy it at a Macy's lot, that value might be $10. So guess what you'd be paying in the Dragon Deals live show? 5 plus calculated shipping. Very good deal. You're not going to find too many of those, but I have a few thousand of them, but I'm not going to put them out here too much because a lot of those products are the ones that I want to put in my 300. But like I said, I had 6,000, so there's plenty to go around. I will try to pull out some good drama, not always that good, but I will try to pull out at least one good drama that is only on the Dragon Deal live show on Wednesday. For example, now I'm not selling this yet. This is a real Fire King. You know how I know? Because my grandmother bought it new at the store, and I have a lot of them. And we auctioned off a bunch, and I managed to bid on some before they got bought many years ago. Well, this is a little Fire King. I brought this back up because who was it? DS Warner asked what it was. She couldn't see it. And that's why I brought it back up. Now that the camera is a little bit bigger, once I get the lighting fixed, it's dirty, needs clean. I want to see if you're going to actually, now I'm not very good with this. Once I have it non-reflective, I may be able to get it where you can see labels a little better. Of course, it would help maybe if I had it the right way. You can kind of see it. This is testing stuff too. Since we're talking about money, I'm saving money right now. You know how I'm saving money? I don't have to stream and then go find it in 28 different websites all over the world and delete it to do a test. I'll just stick it in my show today because we're talking about money. But things like this, I'm going to have some vintage stuff. This is just to see how that came out because it's glass. It's a test. So I'm really actually kind of a little excited about the Dragon deals now, the way I have it set up. It's real easy. You look at the app. If it has a picture and a number, you drop into the show because the only time you're going to be able to ask me about the numbers or about the items or get it at that super duper cheap price. That's a loss price. Barely making more than what it costs to ship, kind of thing, on a lot of items. Also, what I'm going to do, I am not going to in the store put any links to huge China lots. What I mean, like, I would never tell you to buy these and resell them. Never. Because I know you won't be able to. But if I wanted to sell these in the Dragon Deals live show, I'd say, do you have 5 or 6 kids that want fidget spinners? Subscribe to my channel. I'll probably send them to you for a PDF label for free. In other words, you pay the shipping, I'll give you some. That's for the fidget spinners. But to give an example, if I was selling a Chinese lot, not these, but if I was, I would say, okay, we've got 5 fidget spinners here. I paid I paid $1 a piece, so you pay 50 cents a piece, and you know what? I can't sell them. You can't sell them. A quarter a piece, so yours. And then I would figure out the shipping, and it would be done before the show, but I'll have all my numbers ready. But it would be with 5 as priority, unfortunately, so I'd probably sell it in a smaller amount. But let's say it's $5 to send it to you, so you pay $10 for all 5, and then throw them in the mail. Now that's a bad deal, but I'm just giving you an example of how it works. Now after the show, notice there's no prices. Nobody knows what the price is. I don't want you to know the price. I want you to come in, ask how much it costs, and get it super cheap in my show. So I don't have to do anything but the most basic of listings. A picture, a basic description, price, and your shipping. Boom, we're done. I'm not going to do anything else because the only one that's going to see that is you. And this is how that works. Since you can't just buy it right then unless you want to send me a payment on PayPal, you could do that, but no reason. If you wanted to buy it right in the show, you can. You can bid in the show. Then what you do is in the app, I have a little button you can push. It says go here after you bid on something. And it's just me on Facebook Messenger through my business page. Super easy link. It's just you and I chatting. All you have to do, this is so easy. All you have to do, put the item number and the price you got it for. That's it. Because you haven't paid anything yet. This is the most important thing you have to do. My employee or myself will as quickly as we can after the show, create your listing based on what you got it for in the show. And we are going to put that link in that chat. It is imperative that you get to that as soon as you see that chat pop in your link. Please try to get it paid for quickly. Why? Because on my sites, they're going to get viewed. Even though I haven't posted anywhere, it's not even going to be available in the app. You have to go to that chat and click it and buy it real quick. And it'll be a link in a store, so it's just like everything else, all through PayPal. So no drama there. And then guess what? You'll get your tracking and all that just like you would on eBay or anywhere else. So the only thing extra that you're required to do besides just bid is to use the app. There won't be a link. So you have to use the chat, send me the number and the price, and then look at that chat to buy it, and then everything's like normal. So that's a little bit of a pain, but you're getting items super duper cheap, and it's not that bad of a deal. You just open the chat, put a little info in, make sure you check it the next day. Just put it that way. I'll try to get it in there as fast as possible. But if I'm busy or I have to run to the hospital, it might be the next morning. So our show there is at 1 o'clock. I will try to have it done by the end of business that day. If not, you're in luck. If I don't have that link in there by the time you're done having dinner, you're like, oh, good, he's not going to get it done today. It'll be first thing in the morning. By the time you wake up in the morning, the link will be sitting in there waiting for you. I will try to do it much faster than that, but I always want to give myself a little leeway. So that's very easy. And I'm talking, guys, I'm really talking about discounts. For example, if you look in that app right now, what's a small one? This isn't a very good one, but it's okay. It was a full queen set. Now, this is still not going to display right because I have the wrong lighting. But even without it, hold on. I got to get this camera thing figured out, the right and left. I believe you might actually be able to see that barcode. Let's see. If you had to, you could probably pull that off there if you did a screenshot and zoomed in on it. That's what I need. It's gonna have a few it's gonna have a picture or a collage picture in the app, but that's not really a good view. Uh, and then the listing is only going to be very basic too, because I don't want to spend a lot of money and time on it. So you're not going to have a super good picture view on some of these. Some of these are already built in listings, so you want to be trouble. All right, so that's what I would. This is actually in the app without a link because it's not listed yet, and I had no bids. You will see once a week about 50 listing links go in with links because I bulk do everything, and we've been working on them. So all of the comforters that are in my app right now, at the price that they are listed in the app, you see it says no bid. That means I brought them up for sale for people to buy. I gave them a really good price. No one bought any of them. So they are back to clearance price instead of super duper clearance price, basically. The only way you get super duper clearance price is bid in Dragon Deals Live and use the little chat to make sure that you buy that item before someone else does. Just trust and believe me. If I like, I think I sold that one like $10 in the super duper chat, and then they would have paid shipping. So it would have been like $22. I think I have it in there for 29 now. Not a big difference because that's not a good item. Not that's not a flip resale item. But on those, you're really going to want to jump on it. For example, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans. Next week, if you're interested, now this is not a big deal, but you might be interested. Next week, I have a huge box. Well, it's cubic size. So it'll be $10 to have it shipped to you. So that's part of the price. But it is 100% full of every kind of different size type of phone case you can imagine. Mostly not the brand new ones, the old ones that no one wants. Now, why do I say no one wants it? No one wants it because you don't want to run a main listing where you're selling those individually. But I'll tell you this right out. I did very well with grabbing all the ones that they had just recently finished and selling lots of like 10 and 15 of them. A lot of the little shops that do redoing phones, and a lot of those are online. A lot of those shops don't want to order them from China and wait around. They might have just bought from another seller 50, what's an old iPhone? iPhone 4s or something. They might have just bought 50 of them that didn't need any repairs, just new batteries or something. And they're going to sell those online. They will buy 10 or 20 or 30 from different sellers online so they can get them all real quick or all the same type. So there is actually a little money to be made there, especially if I am sending you, I don't know how many fit in that box. I'll have to count. It's over, I think, 1,600 of them or something. All of them priced between $1 and $10 each. Now, remember, there'll be a few new phone ones in there, but mostly they'll be the older phones. Now, that's not a market that I want to mess with. That's why I'm going to put it in a great big box and sell it off. So, guess what I would probably charge for that? Oh, $15 in the Dragon Deals live show, and 10 of it is the priority box to get it to you. Okay. If I were to sell that in the clearance link thing, I would charge at least $25 a case, and it would be $40 or $50. Okay, that's why you come to the Dragon Deals live show at 1 o'clock. There will be some items that will, like for this, I will not make a listing for this Fire King. I'm not, and not even if you buy it in the show, it will have a listing long enough for you to buy it. But I'm not going to put it in my app. I'm not putting any vintage stuff in any of my sites. All my vintage stuff will only be sold in my Dragon Deals show live, and this is what people are going to be wanting. I have good vintage stuff. This is just one thing I'm showing you. I've got, you name it, I've got it over there. Um, I have dishes in China and stuff like that. That's not so good for online because of the shipping costs. But I will hold some up that aren't listed or not going to be listed, just in case you might have the set. Like I have the oh, I'm just talking to you guys now. We're done with the money thing. Let me just show you. Oh, I got my old grandpa butt up. All right. Now this isn't a great one. This is just the first one I reached in and grabbed, and it's very dusty. It needs cleaned. It is in perfect condition, by the way. It's just dusty and dirty, so it doesn't look super great. I mean, you can see the dust on it, but there is no damage. It's in perfect condition. It's just the USA kind, of course, but this is a brown drip glaze, and this is just one in a very dusty cabinet. And I have lots of these. The full pitcher. I have two of the great big pitchers. I have the little divided gravy soup bowl things. I even have some of the oddball ones. But like all of this kind of stuff, I am not going to be putting that on any online store. All of that stuff is going to be. Um, oh, you might get a kick out of this. I think this is one of them. Oh gosh, everything is so dirty. This has just been up in a dusty cabinet, guys, for years. I used to sell this stuff on eBay. This is just some of the leftovers when I very first started. You might know what this is. Oh, I'm not very good with this camera thing yet. See that glare thing? I've got to do something about it. Now, this isn't real high end, but this is the real deal. And oh, it's dirty. Oh my gosh, look at all this dust. Oh, this is awful. See, I wasn't going to show all this stuff. See, that's why this stuff isn't ready to be sold. Now, that is all dust in there, guys. This is a pretty nice piece. And I'll put it in the Dragon Deal live show. And these kind of items, I'm not going to quote you price. These kind of items, I'm going to tell a whole bunch of vintage sellers because I have a group with friends in it. Not my group or anything. I have a group with friends in it. And they're all vintage sellers. So for fun, so it's not all me just peddling and losses and stuff, because that's what this is all about. So for fun, every show, I'm going to pull out one of my vintage items. It's only going to be available in the Dragon Deals live show, and it has to be bought in the show. No one buys it, goes right back on the shelf. So you might want to tell your little vintage people that Roger every week's just going to grab something vintage and throw in here. And I'm not even going to tell you much about it. Part of the fun is I'm going to do a little segment. I don't have it made yet. Do I have something close to it? No, I don't have. I don't even have it anything close yet. But there's going to be like a little. You know how I go between the windows in the show we just finished? I go between this window and that window. Well, there'll be a little window that we go to, and it's going to be the vintage corner. And in the vintage corner, every week on Wednesday, I'm going to have at least one vintage item. Now, it may be something you can flip and resell. It may just be something you might like, or it may be just something weird and unusual. But there's going to be some sort of not new vintage item. Rockstar Flippers on here sending me messages. YouTube is very blurry. Yeah, we're on a hot spot, so I'm not surprised. I just saw a message coming through. So there'll be a vintage item in the vintage corner in the Dragon Deals live shopping show every week. Now, the first time you're gonna see that'll be next week. It won't be very good. It'll be very basic. very basic graphics, nothing too fancy. I'll probably even pick a fairly simple item to show, nothing really too big. I might do one of those brown drip glaze pictures. I have one that I had for sale for a long time. I took it down. Then I got a message someone wanted to buy it. I looked them up. They had negatives, so I didn't list it. Still sitting there. And that was 6 years ago. So, and it's quite nice. So I'll probably put something like that, if not that, in the show on Wednesday. All right. So I have shown you what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time with the little selling of the stuff. You should check out the app. Now, the item's going to be available for sale in the app eventually. There's nothing in it much now. There's like a few comforters and a couple of links to some items that I have for sale, and that's about it. But by Wednesday, actually, I'm going to start probably putting some pictures in maybe tomorrow. There'll be a bunch of pictures with numbers. It's important. You want to see the pictures with numbers without links. Because if they have a link in it, that means it's clearance price. You're not going to be able to get it much cheaper unless you're really nice during the Dragon Deal Live show. Okay? Because I've already tried to sell it and didn't sell it. That's the price it is. So the only time to get it super cheap is if there's no link in there. Even with the link, it's super cheap. But I mean the real cheap, like because you're in the show, you're getting it below what I would normally do. That's a big deal, guys, because I do have some stuff that's really valuable. You will like my lots. I wasn't going to do that. That's the cheap China stuff, as I call it. It's not all cheap. Some of it's pretty good. But it's stuff that if you tried to sell it individually on eBay, you would not do very well. You won't come up in Google search very well either if you're selling the item by itself because it's all tied up that way. But if you use the word lot or bunch or group or whatever it has to be for that particular product, you do have an opportunity to sell them in lots of 5, 10, 20, whatever they happen to be. I will always tell you what your opportunities are with each and every item. Now, remember, I did all mine individually because I was one of the major features of my eBay store was I was the first actually. Well, I don't want to say that because I know it, but I don't have the data in front of me to prove it. I was told it by the people that write the data, but I was a prototype eBay store, so I was one of the very first ones that was able to have the promotion thing where you buy one, you buy two, you buy three. Did very well with that. So I sold mine individually because most people came to my store and bought like 10 of my cheap China things to get 20% off. So I did very well with that. But that was a market I built that doesn't exist anymore. So don't do that. Now, be very straightforward. You have 100 toothbrushes, look up and see how many people bought lots of 100, how many people bought lots of 5, 10. Whoever bought the most numbers, make it all break it down to that. And make sure you use the word lot and things that'll make it come up in search. I'll tell you all about that when I'm selling you the lots. All right. Well, I think we still have some people in here. Nobody is really asking me any questions. I'm very surprised. I like to get questions. So, but since we don't have any, and I've been not even on topic now, I've been on topic for like 10, 20 minutes, right? More than that. Well, let me show you some other stuff while we're screwing around in here because my show is pretty much over. We have the credits to do, but what we were talking about, we'll review for the people that popped in late. We were talking about money. This is the money app. This isn't the actual run through video that I did before. And I'm just going to kind of let that play while I talk to you guys. But this is the money app. It'll help you make good decisions about your money. You can just kind of see what's in there while we're messing around. I'm actually looking at another window right now trying to figure out what I want to show you guys. Money is pretty straightforward. You know, there's some information there about accounting. It will help you get it all set up and figured out. Trying to think what I might play. I don't think I'm going to make you sit through one of my little top 5 videos. Those are kind of long. No, I don't think I'm gonna really make you sit through anything else. I'm kind of looking through here. Um, we've pretty much gone over what I'm going to be doing on Wednesday. This is again, it gives you tips on credit and on your return in investment. But this is the little app that this show today was actually about. So I'm kind of giving it a little run through in case anyone popped here in here and didn't see the first run through about the app. It does have some pretty good resources in it. You just scroll through and click the buttons, and all the information is there. It's very easy to find. You just go to keywebco.com, go to the menu, scroll down to it says Key Webco apps, click the button. All of them are free. They all work right there on the page. Now, of course, that's business costs. You know about business costs. We all know about business costs. That is an awesome video, guys. You really need to watch it. It's even called Accounting 101, and I believe that one is a single one. There was a three-part series I put together, but I think that's the other one I chose. It was better. Tax responsibilities, just so much fun of a topic I picked to talk about tonight. The taxes and the money. But we all have to know these things. There is all the business documents you could ever need, and they don't cost. They don't cost. You can upgrade to better ones, but it's got all your basic ones for free. Shopping apps. Do not ignore those shopping apps. They are gonna corner all the mobile, digital, GPS, all that market. So pay attention to that. Employees, if you've got employees, this app will help you out. It'll give you some things about what to be as an employer or an employee, some things to consider and look at. It'll also tell you some of your responsibilities there. Shipping app. If you're not using pirate shipping, you better jump on the bandwagon. You only really need it for the cubic part. Cubic saves me a lot of money. I did. When I was shipping all the time, it did save me a lot. KeyWebCo affiliate program goes without saying. You become a member of the KeyWebCo affiliate program. You share my stuff around. Any of it sells, you get 5%. You get an extra 5% bonus at the end of the month. It also has a little bit about that Bitcoin and all that. I am dreading that getting integrated into e-commerce any more than it already is. But guess what? It's going to be there, so get ready. If you're broke, this is what you do. I have not done that, even though I have been completely broke where I should have filed bankruptcy before, but I never have, and I'm going to try to never do that. But if you need to, those options are there for you. Platform diversification. That's how come you don't need to go back to the previous screen and file bankruptcy. If you diversified your business, diversified your money, diversified your things, you should have multiple streams of cash flow. Key Webco apps is everything you need to know about business of any kind, blogging, etc. It's all right there in the app. How'd you think I did on that one? How did I do? Oh, and then one go question and answers. We already did that. How'd I do on that run through? I'm trying to get where I just kind of spiel out the apps instead of trying to give you a whole lot of details along the way. And so people will know, oh, this is what's in this one, this is what's in that one, this was. And eventually, once I decide to pay money, because I don't think I'm going to do it, I should, but I don't think I will. Eventually, I'm going to have all of my YouTubes chopped up into little bitty pieces, and all of the apps will have a little segment where it's just the little spiel on the apps. Then you play the little button, then you click it. And I'm going to do that because that's also going to be necessary for the blogs and the books and everything that's coming out. I actually had a book plan, but the book plan got more complicated. So now I've decided to integrate it with websites and apps and a book and everything else. So I'm really kind of looking forward to that. It's going to be very hard to do and do well, but I'm kind of looking forward to the book coming out. What do you think of my little blue rain? I was going to do the metrics, but that's kind of the green got on my nerves after a while, so I did the little blue rain. All right, well, I zipped through that show. I even did the little app spiel, kind of did the little app spiel twice because I saw someone popped in that wanted to see that app. They had mentioned it earlier today. Okay, so let me see. My global people are still there. We are streaming worldwide. The U.S., I'm not doing so well. There's just a few people watching on Facebook, a few people on YouTube, not very many. But I'm doing really well in several other countries. I'm not going to give you their numbers because I'd have to close it and look at it. And we are using a hotspot to stream. Well, have I done my time? I'm trying to figure out exactly how long I've been on here. Yep, I've gone over about 5 minutes from what my projected time was for today. I kind of talked through double on one of my sections. You'll notice that because I decided not to show you guys something because I looked at it and it's not right. And so I had to change my show mid flow. Did you guys notice? All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to rattle on and on and on a little bit about e-commerce today. I think we will go to this is supposed to be the final chat window here. We're going to jump here one last time. If you watched my show, please add the link to your business. That is not spamming on my accounts. I have no problems if you add the link to your business. If you're adding a link for an item to sale for sale, that's not so good. But if you're adding a link to your whole store and saying, "Hey, this is me. This is where I sell my stuff," I'll take a look at it. Shoot, I'll even share it around. So feel free to do that. Also, do the same thing for me. If you have an opportunity, run over to the Key Webco YouTube channel and subscribe and support us there. All right, guys. Well, thank you for staying with me all along tonight. I had a really boring topic to go over tonight. Money is boring. What you can do with the money is what always everyone gets excited. Spending it, everyone always gets excited. But telling you how to be responsible for it is a very difficult topic to be charming and nice about. I hope you enjoyed my attempt at that today. Even if you didn't, I'm giving you valuable resources for free. Using my apps doesn't get me paid. I don't even have any kind of Google advertisement or anything on these things, guys. So I don't get a dime for any of this. But I devoted a lot of my life trying to figure out things that somebody could have just made me an app that all I had to do is go down and push the buttons and everything I would have wanted to know ever would have been there. And no one ever took the time to give that to me or anyone else that I know without charging a bunch of money. I'm not a crook, so I'm not going to charge you a bunch of money just because I decided to spend the time and learn it and I want to share it. That is good enough for me. What I do want you to do, though, is support my stuff. Either subscribe to one of my things and get into my private group, or share my stuff around, or go to the Key Webco Global store and see if there's something in there that you don't mind waiting a little bit to get. I cannot ship at the speed I used to do when I was doing the local warehouse. Items take anywhere from a week to 3 weeks to get there, but you're getting a super great price. And I have everything on the planet you can imagine, or at least I will. I should be at 10,000 listings hopefully by the end of this month. This is the 15th. Yes. If I'm on schedule, I should be at 10,000 listings by the end of this month. I hope to be at 30,000 listings from multiple suppliers, including a couple all US ones that are rather big. I have a few, but this one should take up a larger percentage of my inventory. That'll increase my average shipping speed. All right, guys, that's the story about me. That's the story about what I'm doing today. These are some of the apps and the goodies I'm giving away. I hope you enjoyed my show today. And now with the final credits.